Supports this bill. Thank you.
Call Andrew Little.
Chairman, it's a pleasure to take what will now be my final call on this part of the bill. And I just want to respond to some comments made by Dr Coleman, the previous speaker, because you see, here is the thing. No one on this side of the House has argued, nor would we argue, that gangs should have some sort of free rein over schools or hospitals or any other government office. No one has argued that. We don't need to argue that. And if he wants arguments about sensible solutions to real problems, then Dr Coleman could do a lot worse than actually sit there listening to us for a moment and hear what the real problem is. The real problem isn't the presence of gang patches and gang insignia. It is the fact that we have criminal enterprises, some of them tied up with gangs, who wear whatever garments they wear. Some of them don't wear any gang patches, but they are still tied up in groups and they are still involved in criminal enterprises. And if we had a government that was genuinely interested in dealing with the issues of crime and bringing to justice those who would commit crimes against those in our communities, then they wouldn't be wasting their time and our time and the time of this House on legislation like this. They would be addressing the real issues, the real drivers of crime. They would be dealing with the people who bring to their activities bad motives, poor motives, evil motives, and they would be addressing those issues. They would be looking at those people who are driven into the gangs through poverty, through hardship, through whatever misguided sense of membership or belonging that they have or want to have, and they would address those issues. But this is not a government that wants to do that. This is a government that is about blaming others, blaming people, blaming everybody else, rather than taking the time and the effort to come up with the real solutions. If I were in business driving a white van around the streets, I would want to know that I was driving through safe communities and safe streets. And I would want to know that I had a government in charge that was committed to dealing with those issues and putting in place those measures that were genuinely about dealing with issues of crime and ensuring that those who commit crime are properly brought to justice. And I would be equally concerned about making sure that those who are brought to justice are then handled through our criminal justice system in a way that actually has a better chance of fixing the problem. That's not what this bill does. This is about cosmetics. It is as everything about this bill suggests, which is about gang insignia and gang patches. It is just cosmetics. It's not about dealing with people. It's not about dealing with the issue, and that is why we are opposed to it. And that is why we will continue to oppose silly measures, proposing silly solutions to problems that don't exist. If we want to deal with people on premises who shouldn't be there, we already have the means to deal with that, as the Napier District Court has shown, as many public organisations are showing. But if we wanted to stop criminal elements turning up into public places, we wouldn't be stopping at public buildings or government buildings. We would be dealing with criminal elements turning up to playgrounds, turning up to beaches, turning up to barbecue places, turning up on our streets. And as we will deal with in the next part, and we'll deal with the measures that are there for police to chase these people, we will be dealing with real measures to stop this. And this bill doesn't do that, Mr Chairman. That is why we're opposed to it. Mr Coleman, I know Dr Coleman, I know he has listened attentively to this, and I see now the look on his face. He now realises, of course, that this legislation doesn't go anywhere near the sorts of problems that he spelled out and that we need to have fixed. And I know that he understands that no one in this House is arguing that we want to have gang members marauding around our schools and our hospitals. And I know he understands that we are all opposed to that. And I know now that he understands that we want real measures to deal with the real problems, not just the window dressing.
I call Mike Sabin.
Thanks, Mr Chair.